Hello, welcome to West Ham Confidential on Revelator Alf. So, fifth game of the season, and eventually we get a win. Yes, West Ham travelled up to North West to face off against Everton, and they beat them 3-1, just as I predicted, or I hoped, I should say. Now, what can we say about the game? Well, first of all, we got a performance. We got commitment, we got desire, and we got the rub of the green a little bit as well. All the things that possibly had been lacking in our previous outings. You know, Fabianski was still, great in goal. He made some crucial saves as well. And he commands his area, which is really good. At the back, we had Diop and Balbuena. Yes. You could dissect their performance a little bit. You could say they've made a couple of errors here and there. Still a little bit exposed at times. But on the whole, solid there. We had Zabaleta, who I was really pleased who'd come back, and he had a solid game for me. Masuaku on the left back position, and he was basically just doing the job what he was supposed to do. Yes, we were both susceptible to being exploited down the flanks by any opposition, and Everton carved us up a couple of times, and they did make it, put some crosses in, or actually got, through the middle of us a few times as well. Luckily, they either missed or, the Fabianski made a great save. But, just goes to show that we are still vulnerable at the back. However, the crucial thing today that we had, yes, Noble was there as well, but we had Rice and Obiang in there as well. They did a fantastic job. The three, I'm going to give them all as a trio, really high praise here. But I think Rice particularly did fantastically well. Very mature performance, and he was intercepting play, he was creative, he was trying to spread passes around. I think if you look at the game, you could say that West Ham had the better of the first half, and then possibly the second half it was kind of even Stevens, really. I mean, regardless of scoreline and stuff, but look, we're just going to focus on the positives. We created as we have been, but Yarmolenko scored 2 great goals. Yes, they had Everton made silly errors as well. Pickford, wasn't on song either. As he wasn't last season when they came down to the London Stadium. But there you go. That's another story, I suppose. Arnautovic, brilliant. Anderson had a great game as well. Yes, he made some errors, but had a great game as well. So overall, the team as individuals and as a collective unit played really well. When they gave the ball away, they were pressing and trying to get the ball back. They were defending in numbers, and there was that sense of urgency that we just haven't had, for the last few games. And I think that's possibly the penny has dropped. Mark Noble actually said to all the lads during the week or last week, said, look, it's just not good enough. You've got to up this work rate. And they did, and Anderson, was linking up well with Masuaku, and they were working down that left channel quite well, and then cutting in. Anderson, especially in the second half, was doing some really good work. Yarmolenko, again, was just doing some great hold-up play, linking in well, and also cutting in, and obviously he scored the 2 great goals. And Arnautovic, again, he's a warrior up front. He was, holding it all together, and quite an unselfish performance, I think, from Arnautovic. Yes, he got the goal as well, which is great for him. So that's 3 for the season, 2 for Yarmolenko now. We're off and running. We have 3 points on the board. We're out of the trouble. We're off the bottom of the table. We are no longer those Iron Men keeping everybody up. So it's a great day to be a West Ham fan. It's a great day to be positive, and it's a great day to let the doom and gloom just sort of dissipate, just for a little bit longer. Now, of course, we've got really tough games coming up. We've got Manchester United and Chelsea, coming up. We've got Tottenham coming as well. We've got Brighton away. So these are very tricky games, but this can give us the confidence to build upon, give us that momentum, and to go into those other games. And if we can show the same kind of desire, same kind of passion, commitment, and a play that pressing game, then, you know, we could easily upset other teams. Now, one word of caution, of course, is let's not forget that Everton today actually were quite unlucky in certain respects. They had numerous efforts on goal. You know, they hit the crossbar. They troubled our defences, and they were a depleted side as well. They didn't have Richarlison, didn't have a couple of other key players. However, you know, they performed better, much better in the second half. They upped their pace, they upped their energy, and we struggled to contain them. Whereas in the first half, they were a little bit more lethargic, pondering a little bit more. So West Ham were able to dominate a little bit. But, you know, let's take nothing away from West Ham. I'm not here to, complain about anyone in any way, shape or form. I thought we did fantastically well. We contained them for the most part. We defended in numbers when we had to, and then we, a couple of counter attacks here and there, and it clicked. Everything clicked today, when it needed to be. We clicked in defence or defending from the midfield, from those holding midfielders, Rice, Obiang. In the middle, they were protecting the back four, so that clicked. We were clicking when going forward on the right wing, the left wing. We were clicking up front. Our passes were crisp. We were finding space. Everything was kind of poetry in motion at times, and some of the best football I've seen us play in a long, long time. And you could actually see some of the quality of the players that we've got. Anderson, some fantastic little inside passes he was putting in. Yes, it didn't quite come off, for whoever received it, like Obiang a couple of times. But, it's still there. Yarmolenko, some great players as well. Again, Arnautovic, great. Noble, I thought, had a really decent game. Yes, his defensive quality was better possibly than his attacking qualities, but still, positive. Always positive in this match. And I think that's what we're going to take into the next few games. Now, a couple of rumours going about, and this probably might be all old news by the time you see this. During the game, when Pellegrini was making substitutes, there's some rumours that Lucas Perez was on the bench and refused to warm up, and so he didn't get on. Apparently this is all a bit of bump, really. The fact of the matter is that Pellegrini supposedly was looking to make a substitution. He wanted to bring on Lucas Perez, who was at the time discussing possibly tactics or whatever it was with one of the coaches, and then Pellegrini quickly changed his mind to say, okay, well, he's not ready. I thought he'd warmed up. He's not ready. I'm going to go with Antonio, who'd already warmed up and everything. That's it. There was no drama. There could be more to it. I do not know, but that is the official line. As far as I know it, just soon after the game. Okay. Got to say something about Antonio, actually. So he came on as a substitute in the second half, and he had a couple of decent touches. He still like a bull in a china shop. He tried to ram his way through a little bit, but one key thing that he did that was actually magic. He did it a couple of times, actually. He held up the ball, he took it into the corner, he didn't give it away, he got a free kick, and he wound down the clock for us. Something that he didn't do pretty much this time last year when we, lost to Crystal Palace, when he sort of gave the ball away, naively. And so much kudos to him. He's obviously learnt something. He's obviously learnt, to actually just play a sensible game when we need to. Don't try and, I've got the ball, I've got to try and score, Yeah, he had a couple of efforts on goal, which they weren't really up to much, really. I mean, if he'd opened his body a little bit, just looked up and tried to, instead of shooting right at the defender, actually try and go around the defender, he might have had more luck. But, that's something else, really. Snodgrass came on in the second half for Yarmolenko, and, he'd had his day, really. He did well as well. He showed industry, showed passion, and that's what we want. We want somebody to come on and inject some energy, which he did. I know a lot of people are not really keen on Snodgrass in terms of quality. The same they could say about Noble, but I think, again, he's an asset. As a substitute, definitely an asset for us. And then Sanchez came on. Worried me a couple of times. He looks, on one hand, he looks really composed. He's spreading the ball about. He's you know, diffusing play, and then all of a sudden he receives the ball, and whether he's not getting a, you know, man on shout or whatever, but he's just, you know, the opposition just coming up behind him and nicking the ball off, and that's essentially what happened in the Wolves game. And you know, it happened a couple of times nearly in the game today. Luckily nothing came of it, but you know, he's got to watch that for us. Look, it's a great day at the office for us, you know, whereas possibly we, West Ham, had a bit of luck. Everton, you could, let's be fair to them, they probably didn't get the rub of the green, whereas on another day they would have done. But look, this is our season. We've had 4 games, 4 losses, and we've all been pretty negative about the whole thing. Whereas now we come away with a win, and we're all of a sudden, you know, the sun's shining on the West Ham world. Let's not be so naive though. Obviously there's still problems there. It is still a work in progress. Defensively we are still vulnerable, let's say. We are going to be vulnerable to the better teams, and the teams that are on fire as well, and the ones that are playing well. But hopefully we can improve and build on this momentum. So it's a great day to be a West Ham fan. It's a great day to get the season started. We're off the bottom. I think actually, I haven't had a look at the table. I think we might even be out of the bottom 3, you know, with our 3 points that we've got, you know, and it puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? We get a win, we get 3 points, all of a sudden we jump a few places, and then we're only, you know, a win away from, you know, mid-table, and then maybe another win away from, you know, European place. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I know, so early in the season, but that's the way, you know, all of a sudden you can get a win and you do put everything into perspective. Pellegrini has to be commended for his, you know, his formation. The formation worked really well. You know, it was kind of a, you know, obviously always a flat back 4, but then it went from a 4 to a sort of 3-3, but then also, you know, counter attacking wise, it went 4-5-1 at times as well. You know, it was adapting to the game, and I thought that worked really well. We've got to, you know, he's got to keep that up, and the team have got to keep that up, and they've got to keep that intensity up. Anyway, you can tell that I'm excited because I'm yabbering away here, but that's all I've got to say. You know, this is a post-match blurb. West Ham 3, Everton, I should say Everton 1, West Ham 3. First victory of the season, 3 points. We're out the bottom 3, I think, and this is when our season gets started. Catch you next time on the West Ham Confidential. Cheers.